What does it mean to be a woman in leadership? What does it really mean to be a woman in leadership? Brene Brown defines a leader as anyone who takes responsibility to find the potential in people and processes, and then has the courage to develop that potential. Let me say it again. A leader is anyone who takes responsibility to find the potential in people and in processes, and then has the courage to develop that potential. Is that you? Are you a leader? Leadership also is the capacity to take a vision and turn it into reality, to see a thing in your mind's eye and to cause it to be made manifest in the earth, to see gifts and potentials in other people that would normally have gone undiscovered and call them out, call them forth. I ask you again, are you a leader? And here's the thing. Many of you are answering that, you're hearing that definition, and you're saying right now, yes, that's me, that's what I do. And you do a really good job of leading others, of cultivating potential, of helping it to be realized and strengthened and materialized in the earth. And then when it comes to you, you don't recognize the gifts within you. You don't honor the potential that lies within, and you don't develop yourself further. But a true leader, a significant leader, a leader who's designed to make a profound impact in the world around them, first is committed to making a profound impact in the world within them. Because leading and serving from an anchored place, it's not just something that you stumbled upon. It's not something that just happens. It's an intentional effort required. And although you are a woman or a very strong man who undoubtedly knows your cause, your higher mission, your higher vision, why you're here, what you stand for, you are willing to face the challenges head on to get you where you need to be in life. And yes, girl, you show up highly committed and with impeccable integrity. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you live from a place of unhindered flow and abundance. I want to remind you of this story that I recently read in scripture. Actually, I've been studying for the past 12 months, found in Acts chapter 9, verses 36 through 43. And it's the story of Tabitha, also named Dorcas. You may have heard it. She was a strong woman, a leader. Scripture even says she was a disciple. So she followed Jesus. Tabitha used her times and her talent to create garments for the widow in her area. She served both a practical purpose, but she also demonstrated an acute understanding of the challenges facing the widows in their community. I love her. Sounds like you. And then one day, scripture says, Tabitha fell ill. She got sick. And if you keep reading in the story, it's not very long, but you'll see that she got sick and then she died. And the widows, the people who she had served in their community, they cried, they mourned, they were showing up all the things that she did. Like, Tabitha did this for me and Tabitha did this for me. They were celebrating how amazing she was, but also longing for her life to be restored. And somebody realized that Peter, the apostle and disciple of Jesus, was in a nearby city healing people. And they said, go get Peter, go get Peter. And so they went and got Peter, and he came back. He put all the widows out, which was very common in scripture. Whenever someone had passed away and other people were crying, the person who was coming to deliver the miracle, to be used of God to do something miraculous, always pushed everybody else out. Note that they pushed the people out. There's some times in our life, ladies and strong men, that we have to push people out. We have to close the door. We have to send those who are stuck in the situation, who can't see beyond the situation. We got to put them out a bit so we can one-on-one, be conduits for the work of God to be made manifest. I digress, but I think that's a good digression. And Peter, he laid over her body and he said, Tabitha, get up. His one version says, Tabitha, arise. immediately, scripture reports, Tabitha's eyes were opened and she sat up. I recently shared this story at a live event here in Atlanta with some women who came down to be refueled, rejuvenated, and to reestablish themselves for this next season of life. And when we read that verse and I was sharing that story, I remember when I got to that part and I noticed that Peter didn't do a whole bunch of crazy antics. He didn't yell at her over and over again. He just said, get up one time. He didn't scream in her face. He didn't throw water on her. And she didn't get up saying, ah! The Bible says reports. And she immediately opened her eyes. And in that moment, I realized for some of us, we just need to open our eyes. And our prayer in that moment in the room, and I invite you now as you're listening to me, to simply pray this: Father, open my eyes. Open my eyes, Lord, and cause me to see what you want me to see. So Tabitha's eyes were opened, and Peter presented her alive. And people were so excited at this remarkable act of God. And what I love about Tabitha's story is she was kind, she was generous. Scripture reveals that she was a woman who served. She was a leader in her community. She did good work. It was evident because when her life was lost, they were crying, but they were also holding up evidence that she had been there. I bet you do good work. I bet you are making an amazing mark in the world around you. But I also want to ask you this: are you like Tabitha? Because although Tabitha did good works, and there was evidence of her contribution in the world around her, Scripture said she died. She was dying inside. I can't help but wonder, did Tabitha feel supported? Did Tabitha feel the pressure to produce at all costs, regardless of what she was facing? She did good work, but did she ever pause to rest and to refuel? I wonder what was going on with that sickness that she had. I wonder if the sickness, obviously scripture reveals that it wasn't meant for her to stay dead, because if it was meant for her to stay dead, even though Peter came, the Lord could have allowed her to stay dead. So maybe it wasn't designed to be unto death. We don't have the answers to these questions. These are just things that my coach's curiosity played over and over again as I read that verse. But when I saw Tabitha, I saw you. When I saw Tabitha, I saw me and women like us, women who get things done, women who make things happen, women who people are raving and celebrating over our contribution in the world. And yet, there are places in us that are dying inside. But my question is, what about you? We need leaders in our communities. We need leaders in our families. We need leaders on our jobs and in our businesses. But we need leaders that last. We need leaders that are full of life. We need leaders who are willing to lead themselves first. And the Significant Life community is one way that we cultivate sustainable leadership in the lives we lead, without stress and without striving. We do it differently around here. And so if you're ready to lead, live, and serve from an anchored place, the doors of our community are opening soon. Send me an email or drop a note in the chat wherever you're watching or listening to this, and let me know, Janice, I'm ready to live my significant life journey. I'd love to have a conversation with you and talk to you about how we can partner together and walking that out. I pray that this moment, this brief pause to look at things from an anchored place, is a blessing to you, and it causes something in you to stir up and take action. Until next time, be blessed.